My next question is on the soul's journey. Uh, you you have answered this before, therefore, just a summary, quick question and answer. People say that a man and a woman who are married, they have their association for many births together, and in Hinduism it said that 7 births they are together. So, is it true? If not true, how much it is true? And if it is true, why it is true? So, can you talk about the husband and wife relationship and how many births those relationship continue and when it ends?
Baba Singh, I've explained earlier, when it comes to numbers, it's just for relating to a number to understand, correct? From the earth perspective. There is no concept of number in the astral world, right?
Okay.
Now, if there is any unfinished business, correct? Then you want to get associated and come back. Not necessarily that you will keep coming back as husband and wife. It's at the soul level, right? So not necessarily that soul will continue to be your husband or continue to be your wife in the next birth. It could be anything. Be very close to each other as a family member, as a brother, sister, friend, colleague. With some people you have very different connects at the soul level. Correct? So, and if there is any unfinished responsibilities or duties, or there is still supposed to be some give and take, right? For that reason, you may want to come back as husband and wife, or you may want to be close. The soul may want to be close with each other, but in a different relationship. So that is possible. That is possible because we are always at the soul journey, right? It's not about once you drop your body, it has no meaning or consequence at all. Because you finished your karmic cycle in that body. Correct? So there's no need to carry that forward. But yes, as I said, if there's a very strong need, and that could be for any reason, which is very different from for every soul journey, you may come back even as husband and wife.
So it is not 7 or 1 or 2 or 10, it is about unfinished.
Unfinished, okay, if you want to say 7, yes, it could be 7 births together, but not necessarily as husband and wife, right?
Close association.
Yeah, as close association, yes.
So then what is the significance of this husband and wife? Because, these are important relationship. So there must be a reason why you create these relationship and send people down to earth to be born and then later get connected as husband and wife. So what is that speciality about in this relationship, and is there a spiritual connect?
Absolutely. There is also procrastination. I mean, it's all about taking the cycle of life and death going ahead, isn't it? So you procreate, don't you? And how will that happen? That is the most normal way of the journey of life and death, in short.
So the relationship is only for procreation and the next progenies, or there are more?
No, there is more to it. As I said, the souls are connected with each other, right? For many births.
Right.
Birth after birth after birth after birth till you completely finish that cycle. So if there is an ex soul which has a need from you, as per their karmic cycle and journey, they will get aligned to you because the need is from you, right?
So it's a need-based relationship.
It is a very need-based relationship, yes. Typically to begin with, for procreation, yes. But it is also a very need-based relationship. And it can also be at a very spiritual level.
Yeah, so what kind of needs? That was my next question.
Different needs. The need of comfort, need of being on the same spiritual journey, need to on earth for materialistic gains, correct? And many things is basically aligning the energies of the souls together. However, you will ask that as husband and wife, there are many relationships that fall apart. isn't it?
Correct.
That's very normal and that happens. Yes, that can happen. Because you may have a connect for only for a short while till that specific karmic cycle is completed. Right?
Once that is completed,
Once
could
that
be.
is completed, then you move forward. But then in saying that, there are also many relationships that continue which still make no sense and make no meaning. Right? You may know of here or you may witness that there are many couples who just don't see eye to eye, but they still are with each other.
What is the reason for
They
that?
continue for being with each other to finish that journey in that particular way that they have chosen to.
So their
Their karmic cycle,
needs to be over.
as per their yes, it needs to be over.
That's why they continue
They
even
continue.
it's not a very
Yes.
good
Yes, sometimes they do. Yes,
conjugal relationship.
correct. Sometimes you move on.
So in the spiritual journey, now let's talk about the relationship husband and wife in spiritual journey in togetherness. So there are couples who are extremely Baba loving, both husband and wife, and they progress together. And there are couples in which one spouse is an ardent Baba follower and the other spouse is not. So can you explain this too?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because the other spouse who is not, but is associated with the spouse who's so much into Baba, anyway gets the blessing and the healing and the protection, isn't it?
Okay, so you mean to say the Baba gives healing protection
Of
to the other
course,
spouse
of course.
also if one spouse is.
Of course, the very first question you started was that anybody who hears my name. So if you're so associated and you're always in that environment, you automatically get into that spiritual sanaskaric space also, isn't it? And if not this birth, maybe another birth, you will be a Baba.
So
Baba lover.
even if that other spouse does not acknowledge Baba, does not really, even consent the other spouse's journey with Baba, still that spouse gets your blessing and your protection.
Absolutely, of course it has to.
And let's talk about the other situation in which the spiritual journey of this husband and wife, how it progresses when one is into Baba and the other person is not. How the spiritual journey progresses.
So it's like distant learning, right? One is into very close connect and learning. The other one is observing from a distance. Correct?
Yep.
But at the end of that journey, that distant learning or observation has not gone waste, right? You're coming back with one space in your bag with that little element or experience, that distant learning, observation or understanding of the spiritual journey with Baba. Correct. Now in your next birth, you might want to take it forward, right?
Correct.
You might say, okay, yes, I didn't do that in my earlier birth, but now I have a better understanding and I want to be in that space. Correct? And sometimes because the other spouse is already there, you may want to come back together. Right?
Okay.
So this law, it's very complex. The law of the spiritual world, the law of the spiritual journey, Maya, birth, rebirth, reincarnation. It is so complex and so different for every soul. But the beauty of it all is that you can quickly snap all that when you consciously want to and then become a good spiritual worker. The whole purpose of the spiritual trip is to break away from karmic cycle. Correct?
Correct.
Once you break away from that karmic cycle, where will you land?
In the heaven.
No, you will land only in the spiritual space.
Spiritual
right?
space, yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So once you're in that spiritual space where you have no more baggage, then what happens?
Then you're free. Then you only work for
Correct.
others.
Then you just become a good spiritual worker.
Worker, yeah.
You may come back in body again or you may not. Right? I've explained all great masters and saints, they keep coming back. Including myself. My close mandali. Correct? Everybody comes because that spiritual element or that spiritual um, high or the spiritual euphoric moment is only on the planet Earth.
So that leads to my probably the last question in this segment is Baba lovers say that Baba connects people as much as Baba parts people. So if they're husband and wife who have not been beneficial in the spiritual journey, Baba has broken many couples in divorce and things like that. And also Baba connected to spiritual people to be either in marriage or otherwise where they have been very fulfilled in their journey of spiritualism. So can you explain what you do in terms of bringing together and breaking them apart also?
See, one reason you, as I said, you come together is to take forward your karmic cycle together or complete a karmic cycle. Correct?
You're right.
You do that. In some cases, there are souls that come through that marriage, right? For their own karmic journey. Isn't it? Now, not necessarily those souls will also become part of your spiritual journey. They are coming for their own needs, right? Now, in saying that those souls may align or they may not align, does not matter. Correct? But if you have finished that karmic cycle with a spouse and then you are getting connected in a relationship with another spouse on a spiritual journey, that's because both those souls have been on that journey earlier and have asked to continue that journey, right? So now if you already have exposure to something at an individual level and you want to continue together, then you get connected.
So you get connected or Baba connects?
You ask for it and Baba connects, right? It works both ways.
So that means these kind of connections we can be assured that has got the blessings of Baba,
Oh, yes.
and Baba connects two souls to be
Absolutely.
remarried and
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
what
Now,
happens?
if there is a scenario where one soul's journey is very different on the spiritual path and the other soul's journey is very different, but if you continue to be together, you haven't finished the purpose for which you have come, right? So that's not fair, isn't it?
Correct.
Because I'm holding one away from their path of progress. Correct. But if you're already in class 9 and you associate with someone in class 4, there's a huge gap, right? Either the one in year 4 catches up with you through your association, through what you are, and aligns to that because they want to. But sometimes it's not possible. There's too much of a gap, isn't it? But you came together to complete some karmic cycle, right? In that case, in that scenario, it's best to snap because the relationship is not going to help
Spiritual progress anymore.
spiritually any soul.
So therefore, a class 9 and a class 4 level you snap,
Yeah.
and then connect the 4 with another 4 and a 9 with another 9.
Another 9, yes. Or maybe even higher.
Even higher. Then the next question will be that how do you plan for the future association? Like, how do you plan that who will be husband and wife in the next birth? Is it created right in this world for the next birth, or it only happens after you're dead and a new planning is created? So does the husband and wife planning for the future lives happen in this earth?
No, not necessarily. No, because I told you, at the moment you drop your body, your karmic cycle is over, right? You start fresh. The soul does not die, right?
Right.
The soul only wants to enhance. If it thinks that yes, you still have unfinished business, right? You still want to come back. In some relationships, probably one soul doesn't get that satisfaction and gratification of love, understanding from the other partner, right? You want to give that back, isn't it? So if that realization is there at the soul level, you want to